Florence 1 School District and Florence 4 School District will consolidate on July 1st. Timmonsville High School and Johnson Middle School will be closed. Those students will go to either the 3 high schools in Florence School District 1 or the 4 middle schools in the district. Brockington Elementary will remain open and will become a Magnets Art School. Florence 1 School District Superintendent Dr. Richard O'Malley discusses the transition and preparation for the consolidation.
So Brockington Elementary School, which will have about 300 students, will remain. That school, Brockington, will become a magnet arts school. So that current school will become we did get some additional funding from Superintendent Spearman to start that, meaning buying instruments, having some technology, and a lot of opportunities that those students haven't had in the past, really focused around the arts. So that will move forward for starting August 1st. The middle school and high school students were all way back probably in February given a choice to pick what middle school, what high school they would like to attend. Once those selections were done, we sent our guidance counselors down to Timmonsville to meet with the students and the parents to begin the selection of their courses. So we had a pretty diverse range of where they chose to go, both in high school and middle school. That was the same process. And so we're set to go. Those students are ready to go. Some are already ready and participating in we're getting ready for fall sports. And so that come July 1st, that is how the Florence 4 would be divided up into our Florence 1 schools.
Now, the Magnet Art School that you mentioned, is that for elementary school age students?
Yes, so that'll be for all the students in kindergarten through 5th grade at Brockington Elementary School.
And can anyone from the Florence 1 School District apply to go to the Magnet Art School at Brockington?
In the current first year, the answer would be no, but we hope if we develop a strong enough arts program that it'll be like our other sort of magnet schools, immersion, Montessori, that there will be a choice to go to Brockington Elementary School as well. But that would probably be after the first year.
Okay. All right. Now, when all this started with the state superintendent, Florence 4 School District board sort of filed a lawsuit against the state board, and did that have any impact on the consolidation?
No, like this consolidation was all driven by Columbia, the state superintendent, and then ultimately the legislature, which voted on the legislation. So the Florence 1 board had absolutely nothing to do with any of that other than that shared service agreement that we've had all along.
Okay. And now the Timmonsville High and Johnson Middle School buildings, those will be closed. What is going to happen to those buildings, themselves?
Well, currently we don't have any plans right now, but we've got several options of what we'd like to see and some partnerships that we're working on for the future. But for this school year, those two, what they're called wings of that school, will not be functioning as any kind of educational facility. We'll spend the year trying to develop some partnerships and working with some groups like Florence Darlington Tech to maybe enhance what we want to provide in those facilities.
Okay. So you are making plans to, at some point, you use those facilities and they just won't sit there vacant?
Correct. That is our plan. We want to try to maximize what the educational facility as well as the entire city of Timmonsville might want to see use for those facilities.
Okay. The Timmonsville students, you're going to absorb those into the high school and middle school. Will that cause any problems with classroom sizes or having to hire additional teachers?
No, actually we've been planning for this for a while. As you probably are aware, we're adding 32 classrooms to West Florence. So the mobiles will go away, but that'll be 10 additional classrooms. I think we have approximately about 80 students that chose to go to West Florence. So in a school of 1,800 students, we can absorb that pretty much along with the others. In South Florence, with the new South Side, we're going to shift the 9th grade academy over to the old South Side. That gives us capacity of somewhere between 23 and 2,400 students. So capacity-wise, we're pretty good in both of those schools.
Okay, and teacher-wise, are you, obviously you're gonna have to add some teachers, and will those teachers be the ones that were at Florence 4? If they wanted to apply, they can, or?
So in a high school, because there's so many offerings, it's easier to disperse 80 students without adding, but we've hired probably about 90% of the staff that was at Florence 4 to our staff. That includes bus drivers, assistants, teachers. So about 90% of the staff actually was given an opportunity. They interviewed, they saw the vacancies, and we've been able to hire 90% of them.
Students at Brockington, will there be any changes that they're gonna see when they come this year that they might not have seen the previous year?
It'll be probably a whole new school that we've been working on, from technology in the classroom that they didn't have to the one-to-one and able to bring the laptops home. They weren't getting or receiving any kind of electives or specials. They were getting maybe once a week from a foundation in Columbia of the arts and the music. They're going to have more than they've ever had as far as arts electives with the new arts magnet, dance, instruments, opportunities that they've never had before. They'll have the curriculum that we've had all along, all of our new textbooks, all of our new curriculum. So just about everything other than the physical building, which we've made renovations to and then added some things, will be new.
Okay, and you've mentioned renovations. What sort of renovation work has been done there?
So HVAC had to be replaced. We're working on those. We've had to fix some leaks in the roof and in the gymnasium. They've had no technology in the classrooms. We've had to take out old televisions and put our smart boards in there. So those are a lot of the renovations that have taken place inside or on the exterior of the structure.
How is the public going to be involved from Timmonsville? If they wanted to talk to someone, would they just talk to the principal down there, or will there be any community meetings set up to answer any of their questions?
So just like our public, the input really starts at the local school level regarding their teacher or the organization of the school, and curriculum questions could come to the district office and so forth. So I think that structure will remain the same. With the legislation, there's now a board seat that represents Timmonsville, so they have someone representing the entire city of Timmonsville on the Board of Education, Board of Trustees, I should say. And so that representation is at every different level.
Okay, and you mentioned the board, constitution of the board, how it's made up. So how has that changed the way the Florence 1 school board makeup is?
Well, that was done obviously by the legislation, and then the selection of those trustees was also done by the Florence County delegation, or I should say a delegation that represents these areas. And that those will actually take effect on starting July 1st. So basically there are 9 members. That 9 members still exist. There was 2 seats that represented the northern end of Florence. Those seats were combined by the legislature, and then one of those seats was moved down to all of Timmonsville and certain sections of 2 other board member seats to create, I think it's District 4 now, which is new.
Okay, and all that was done at the state capitol by
the legislation provided for that, and the delegation actually was selected who those trustees, because both boards, the Florence 4 board and the Florence 1 board, actually gets dissolved on June 30th, and a new board for Florence 1 which was selected by the delegation, which was in the legislation, was already selected.
All right.
And they would take office as of July 1st.
And so now after this election, the delegation is seated, or the new board is seated, then will it revert back to election processes to elect the board on a regular basis?
Yeah, they actually, in the legislation, said what seats are up come this November and the staggered seats moving forward. So that was all laid out in the legislation as well.
At the last board meeting, you talked a little bit about the finances and state funding for the getting the additional students and some consolidation money. Can you just tell me, brief me a little bit more about the money that is coming into the district to help bring the Florence 4 into Florence 1?
Yeah, so basically what the CFO, Ms. Shao, talked about is that the state aid is now consolidated. So instead of having Florence 1 and Florence 4 state aid, it's consolidated into one sort of monetary for Florence 1. So we receive that money. Any money that's remaining that we're still looking at from ESSER funds, CARE funds, that would also roll over. Title I funds that would have gone to those students separately is now rolled into them because they're now part of Florence 1. So all of that is rolled into our consolidated district, which remains Florence 1 schools.
And you did mention the state had earmarked some consolidation money, and that we were going to apply for your fair share of that.
I think I used my fair share, which hopefully if it's more, then it's not our fair share, but it's more. But yes, the legislature had put in $25 million for districts that are consolidating. We don't know how that's divvied out or who that's for, but we were hoping to work with our delegation on ensuring that we get our fair share, is my comment. And we hope to move forward and work with them now that the budget's in place, work with them for how they thought that money should be delegated.
Okay. And you guys have obviously looked at it a little bit. Do you know how, if you get some money, what it's going to go toward, or
well,
just in general?
In general, it would probably go towards any of our new facilities that we're building, most likely the new elementary here in North Vista. I would assume we need some money for that. As prices escalate, that would be one of the places I know we would place it.
Okay. So is there anything else about consolidation you'd like to talk about?
No, ready or not, here it comes, July 1st. We've been partnering with them and providing shared services, and then come January, the board appointed me as the interim superintendent to start this transition. I would just say those are some of the things we can talk about. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes, setting the millage rate, changing the bills, looking at all the contracts that we have to unwind and have us sign. So there's so much of the details that everybody makes simple that now that we are as administration have to go through. That paperwork process will probably take us a good year. So I think that's not anything that's fancy or anything that the public wants to hear, but just from an administrative standpoint, it's like buying a new house. You have to go through all the change, whether you're changing the bill and starting the cable again to all the internet services and things like that. So we'll be spending a lot of time making sure that that is a seamless process.